Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a 5-star rank 3 Red Guardian into Realm of Legends to basically show you how to ramp up the damage with him. Now normally I think I prefer this champ in shorter fights, especially against those unstoppable evaders and Doom's aura, just because he has such a great slow mechanic. I'll leave a link to a video down in the pinned comments to just kind of show the quick fights. But he does have the ability to gain some half-decent damage once you ramp him up. You really have to focus on keeping the debuffs on the opponent and using your heavy attack. So let's take a look in the Realm of Legends against this Captain Marvel. And remember, this is a rank 3 5-star, so he's not going to be pushing out huge damage. So personally, I like to start off the fight with a special 1, which causes a 12-second slow. Even if the opponent is not evader or unstoppable, it's still good for Red Guardian because when the opponent is slow, he gains a 25% power rate increase. Now you can reset all of Red Guardian's debuffs by doing a heavy attack. He actually has 3 different debuffs. He has the slow, he has a trauma, and he has something called vulnerability. I also have resonate going on here for testing purposes. The more debuffs that are on the opponent, the more damage your heavy attack can do, because it basically increases the attack for the heavy attacks, the more debuffs that are present. So what we're going to do here is we're going to work on getting to our special 2. Our special 2, as long as we have charges in our shield, which we do at the moment, it will fracture the shield, and when the shield is fractured, it will place a trauma debuff on the opponent. Normally it's for 3 seconds, but it's 100% duration increased while you're doing a special 2. So right now I'm trying to keep both my trauma up and I'm trying to keep my slow up at the same time. So you're doing a lot of heavy attacks to keep this going. Now I'm going to do another special 2 here. Again. Now I have 2 trauma debuffs on, so I can do even more damage. You can do a maximum of 3. Now every time that your shield fractures, it takes longer for it to reset. But you can use your special 3 to basically make it go faster. So we're going to build up to the special 3 now. We might get a special 2 in one more time for the maxima. And we do. So now we have 3 traumas on. And in case you want to know what trauma does, a trauma debuff lasts for 3 seconds. Trauma causes each hit to deal an additional 70% of the damage recently dealt as a burst of physical damage. Maximum 3 stacks. But like I said, if you break your shield by doing the special 2, that trauma will last 100% longer. So now we're going to do our special 3. Our special 3 will put another debuff on the opponent. The special 3 is something called a vulnerability debuff, which lasts for 20 seconds. When attacking a vulnerable opponent, increasing critical damage rating by 1181.25 and decrease their block proficiency by 50%. So now what we got going on now is we got a vulnerability debuff, we got 3 of the trauma debuffs, we have the slow debuff, and we have the occasional resonate debuff. And you have to keep on refreshing these by using your heavy attacks. So that's why I say this is kind of a interesting character for long fights, because you really have to focus on that heavy. It can be quite annoying at times. And remember, every time you fracture your shield on your special 2, you do get 1.9 seconds of stun, so you can rush in and do a heavy attack to reset your debuffs. And also after the special 3, you also get 1.9 seconds of stun, so you can rush in and refresh your debuffs. So right now I'm building up to the special 3 again because my shield charges are taking so long to actually reset. By doing the special 3, it will clear the cooldown timer and make it go a lot faster. So it's an interesting character. He's only taking about 86, 87 hits here, and he's already got her down quite low. That's pretty good for a rank 3 5-star. But you got to play perfectly, and you got to keep those debuffs up. So he's not going to be the easiest character to actually play for a longer fight. So here we have a second version of the fight against a Juggernaut in Realm of Legends. I'm not running Resonate in this one, just to give you an idea. Going to do the same thing, focus on getting the slow, so that's a 12-second debuff. And now I'm going to try to build up to those 3 traumas. Sometimes I do 2 traumas and then do a special 3 first, because it's hard to get in those 3 traumas at first, just because of the power gain and the way it works. Now, the Black Widow synergy might help a little bit more with this, because with Black Widow you get a unstoppable on your heavy. So there's the first trauma. I do my heavy because he's stunned after the trauma. So there's a lot of heavy attacks, as you can see here. I'm going to do my second special 2 here in a moment. So now we got another trauma. We got 2 trauma debuffs, and we got a slow debuff. So every time we do a heavy attack, we do more damage. The more debuffs that are on the opponent, the more damage your heavy attack will do. Now I'm trying to get back to my shield charges. I want them to come back up so I can put another trauma debuff on. And there's the third trauma. Now we'll get to the special 3 so we can put the vulnerability debuff on. So you only got about 6 seconds for that trauma to reset. So if you mistime it, you gotta start all the way from the beginning again. And like I said, every time that your shield shatters, it's slower to rebuild. It gets to a point where it's so slow you should only do the special 3 to reset it. So now we have all the debuffs on that he can do. We have the 3 traumas, we have the vulnerability, and we have the slow, focusing on our heavies. So like I said, I like this champ a lot actually, but I like him better for the shorter fights, and I like his ability for the slow mechanic. I find it's going to be very useful in the game. I'm not too keen on him on the heavy attack, long fights method. I suppose if the champ is not stun immune or has limber, then you could kind of do what I'm doing here. But it's a little bit on the boring side, just doing the heavy. Maybe there's a better way to play him that would focus on doing different types of damage somehow. But from what I see, you really have to focus on those heavy attacks to keep the debuffs active, because every time you do your heavy attack, it's based on how many debuffs are on the opponent for the damage dealt. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, there's another video down below in the pinned comment that kind of show you a quick fight against Dr. Doom, focusing more on his specials and so forth. Take care everybody, and have a good one, and don't forget to subscribe and all that good stuff.
Target identified. Analysis complete. Please subscribe.